3, 2, 1, you're up.
Hi, my name is Nelufar Hedayat. You may remember me from such shows as News Round, a news show for kids, or Celebrity Mastermind, where I lost. It's good to see you here. How have you been? It's been a while since I've done this live thing, and I don't know if you can tell, but I'm not in my office. No, I'm on holiday at the moment, recovering from what has been one of the best experiences of my life, making content and podcasts that I genuinely feel have changed my life. I'm talking about Ritually, of course, a brand new 12-part kind of documentary stroke episode series that I've made, all about understanding how rituals can change your life and my life for the better. Now, in each one of these 6 of the episodes, I take on a ritual from around the world and practice it to see if it can make me and you feel better. The series has just launched. It's on wherever you get your podcasts. It's going to be there, and it's going to be running all the way up until the 3rd of August. There's so much to tell you about: tarot readings, sleep nightmares with demons in them, medical trauma, and also fun stuff as well, like going on an incredible journey like the one I'm on at the moment, to kind of find myself and understand who I am. Now, that's Ritually, but what am I here for today? Well, I wanted to connect with you via our first guest for the first episode of the series. So my guest for today's live is beloved Sally Zaltash, who I'm hopefully, just one second, let me have a quiet word with the camera person. Honey, have you added beloved Sarah to the chat? Not quite. Are they coming? For technical reasons, I'll just be filling time now. But hopefully in a second, you're going to connect with my friend, Sarah.
Hi, hey Nell, how's it going?
I can't believe you're on the phone. I'm kind of a bit scared. Hi.
Hello, it's so good to see you. So good to see you on a beach. How fortunate for you.
Yeah, I know. My office is looking tremendously different today. This is sunny San Sebastian where I am. Where are you today, beloved Sarah?
I am in the lobby of my swimming pool because I love swimming and I wanted to make sure that we could come in on this call, but I also wanted to go swimming. So here I am.
Listen, I feel the vibe. I'm with you. I'm connecting. Now, for those of our viewers who don't really know what the heck is going on right now, because they've just been introduced to Ritually, why don't you tell me how we came to be in the deepest, darkest part of lockdown? You and I connected, and we kind of, I know, in a way, changed each other's perspectives on religion and faith. So tell us a little bit about what it was like for you making Ritually.
Well, it was a conversation that we had in a moment that there was a lot going on in my life, and in some ways that depth that is possible to get to in a conversation, it's easier to access when there's already a lot happening, you know, when there's like you're having to deal with lockdown, my partner was sick, we were moving through loads of changes, and Sarah, the producer of this podcast, not me Sarah, different Sarah, reached out to me and said that you were interested in my work with the Islamic call to prayer, and I'm always happy to talk about my work that is, especially the work that's in devotion to divine, to God, to different religious traditions and spiritual practices. And yeah, it was a really enjoyable conversation from what I remember. And then I completely forgot about it, as I think lots of people completely forgot about their experiences during lockdown, like wiped it out of my memory. And then Sarah contacted me again earlier this year saying that you were getting it together, you wanted to share all the different stories that you've been gathering. And so listening back to that conversation now, in some ways has been almost like a kind of like time portal going back to that moment, but also has been like dipping back into a stream of expression and devotion that has always flowing through me. So I'm grateful to you for that.
Stop it. I won't have it. You're basically my imam, so I'm not going to. Now, for all the people who are watching this, how do we convince them we're not a cult?
I think that people have to find ways to work with their religious and spiritual freedom in a way that they can manage their own boundaries and use their discernment to figure out if something is a cult or not. Saying that, I understand that lots of actual cults use very manipulative tactics to bring people in, but in this time where we are increasingly, at least in Western Europe and the US and North America and places where the freedom of the individual is really prized very highly, in these places, we all have to learn how to work with that freedom and each of us decide whether something is a cult or not. It's not for somebody who is a spiritual practitioner or a journalist to say, hey, I've been trying to convince you that I'm not a cult. Instead, it's like, hey, come, we'll sit together, we'll talk. If you don't like this, fine, bounce. And if you like it, let's carry on talking.
The thing that I think I want people to know about Ritually, and especially as they start to listen, is it's about them, you who are watching this live right now. It's about you. It's about how you connect to the world, how you see yourself within religion. And I say in Ritually, it's a place where I kind of lost my faith, but I found God in a weird way. And it's such an important podcast for people who are curious about how people observe the rituals and practices. It's got nothing to do with religion. It's got nothing to do with anything else. But for example, the episode that you're in, the first of the series, it's about the transgression, right? It's about the, oh my effing God factor when it comes to a woman's voice doing the Islamic call to prayer, because it's sort of forbidden, really, isn't it, what you do? You are standing in the face of power and you're looking back.
Yes, it's true that it is forbidden in certain contexts. I have been very fortunate in various inclusive mosques to encounter other female-bodied people who are offering the azan. In the last few years, it seems to be that there's an increasing tolerance to that part of gender equality within that particular faith. And I think that people's encounter with religion is shifting rapidly at the moment. That way that religion can be very controlling is increasingly becoming untenable in the world that we live in, whereas people are accessing a level of freedom and choice to be able to encounter the goodness of the traditions and the histories and the narratives and the mythologies that religious traditions can offer, and say, actually, the bits where you tell me I'm not allowed in your temple, or the bits where you tell me how I'm supposed to dress, the bits where you tell me I'm not allowed to do this, that, this and that, I'll respect you, but I'm not necessarily going to go along with it. Thank you very much. And that means that religion,
yes,
exactly. And that means that I think religion itself, as any other part of social life, needs to adapt and evolve if it actually wants to stay relevant. And there's only a certain amount of time that the control can hold people in place, and that time is going to end.
So my second to last question to you is, having heard your episodes, that's already dropped already, folks. You can listen to Ritually wherever you get your podcast, and I urge you to, because the eloquence, the exuberance, and the beauty of beloved Sally Zaltash's conversation here with me is in the show. But we both come to grips with the fact that we are part of a religion that doesn't necessarily accept who we are as Muslims, because being from Afghanistan myself, and you are from Iran, we're neighbors in terms of where we're from and where we grew up.
Shared language,
shared food, shared everything. But there's also a sense of our home, where we belong, the faith that was there, doesn't want us. So we deal a lot with, well, how do you cope in a world where you believe in some parts of these things? Some of it is hereditary, your mom and dad gave you your faith, and some of it is exploratory, you found these texts. How do we kind of, I suppose, reconcile that? What advice would you give for us to reconcile ourselves and take account of what we've been given, but also what we want to take away?
I think that the way that we could reconcile ourselves to the exclusion that we experience is by having solidarity with other people who are excluded on the basis of outdated and ancient laws that were written mostly by powerful men. I think that we have to join forces with those people who are at the front lines of inclusion everywhere, whether that is about disability, about gender, about sexuality, about neurodiversity, anywhere where people find themselves in struggle, there we can find our allies, because they too are experiencing the same thing as we are. And God loves us all. And so the one who is saying, no, you are not allowed in the temple, this is the one that we must have most compassion for and pray the most for, because they are the one that is furthest from God. Whereas the one who has been kicked out on the basis of their skin color, of their race, of their gender designation, of their sexuality, of their ability or disability, of their the way that their mind works, the way that anything of them is, they are closer to God. And so we can come into allyship with them so that we can pray for those who bring about exclusion.
And just for the record, ritually doesn't need you to believe in God. There's many people on the show that don't believe in God. I kind of don't believe in God. It's a weird place to be, but we explore all of that and we make space for it on Ritually. And my final question to you is, you've had an epic and beautiful journey through faiths. Do you want to maybe share some of your thoughts and experiences, how you've come from Islam to maybe a different faith?
So I suppose, just to say about the piece about God, replace the word God with love, and the same, all of everything that I said stands. And what I have found in my explorations of the Abrahamic lineage, or what some theologians might call the Sarah and Hagaric lineages, because they are the women who are at the beginning of that line, and the religions that come from that space, obviously Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, but also the different sects within those faiths, and also Baha'i, and anyone who has any sort of like relationship to monotheism. What I have found is that whilst each one of those distinct religious traditions has a lot to offer, for me, where I am at right now within Britain, in this country called England, it makes the most sense for me to be of service within the institution of the Church of England. And I always believed in Jesus. As Muslims, we always believe in Jesus. We have a slightly different version of what Jesus is to the Christian story. But it didn't take very much for me to be able to accept and understand the belief in Jesus Christ that is present within the Church of England. And so recently, just like a couple of months ago, I have been baptized into the Anglican Communion. And I'm looking forward to exploring ways that I can be of service to people, to life, to the ecologies that we live within, to this nation, to the people who are suffering here, and also the people who are connected to this nation, whether it's through suffering or through grace.
See, now this is why I'm going to have you in season 2, if we ever get to make it, because converting from Islam to Christianity seems like, moving a mountain, into a little mouse hole, but you have done it effortlessly and beautifully. Right, I need to find some shade, frankly.
Yes.
It's very, very hot. But before I go, I just want to thank you profusely and deeply from the bottom of my heart. You taught me so much. You were my first guide. You were my first guide of 6 guides in this series. And it meant a lot to me. Thank you so much. And if you say goodbye and sign yourself off. Lots of
Thank you so much, Nell. Thank you so much. Enjoy your holiday. Thank you so much for including me in this work of yours. May we be blessed. May we share this blessing.